What if forgetting was the secret to remembering music forever? I've helped over 10,000 musicians end memory slips for good by switching from mindless repetition to a smarter, science-based approach. In this video, I'll show you the step-by-step method and how you can make pieces unforgettable and lock in music for life, so you can finally play any piece with total confidence, whether you're at home or on stage. But why don't pieces stick even when you practice so hard? Here's what happens when you memorize the old way by repeating passages over and over again. If you're lucky, the results are highly promising to start with. At the end of the practice session, you might even be hitting everything and feeling pretty good about things. But when you come back the next day, it's gone. And you can beat it back into your head through brute force repetition as many times as you like. It never seems to stick in the long term. But what if you could come back tomorrow and find your memory not weaker, but stronger? Imagine leaving a piece for months and still knowing it perfectly. There's a simple twist that makes this beautiful result possible. And it's not your fault that you haven't found it, because your brain actually tricks you into memorizing the wrong way. This chart shows what's happening. Notice how the old way gives better instant results, but those memories have faded massively by the next day, while the new way produces weaker results to start with, but your memory grows stronger and stronger, provided you stick with it. So we get fooled by strategies that boost short-term recall, but don't stick. And we reject the best strategies because they seem to fail, when really they're the key to lasting memory. This new approach works for everyone, even if you're older or you've tried and failed repeatedly before. All you need is the patience to push past that first awkward stage. And trust me, the results are worth it. So what actually makes the difference? Think of it like going to the gym. If you only ever lift light weights, your muscles have no reason to grow. But when you push yourself with heavy weights, when you really struggle, your body gets the message, we need to get stronger. And your memory works the same way. If you can recall something easily, your brain stays the same. But when you struggle to remember, your brain realizes change is needed. And that's when it locks things into long-term memory. Repeating something over and over is like lifting light weights. It's easy, so your brain doesn't bother building new pathways. The real magic happens when you give yourself time to deliberately forget. That struggle to recall is your brain's version of a heavy workout, and it's what triggers real, lasting memory. So don't be afraid of the struggle. That's how you build memories that last for months or years, not just hours. When my students embrace strategic forgetting like this, they report results like, within a few weeks, I'm memorizing music that I would never have dared try before. I'm playing completely from memory, and I can go back to it months later and it's still in my memory. But how do you use strategic forgetting in your practice so you can finally remember for good? Step 1 is to test yourself early and often. Play a short segment, maybe just one bar, once or twice. Then immediately put the music away and try to play it from memory. Try recalling it up to 3 times. Then check the music to see what you got right and what you missed. And there's no need to worry that you might be burning some wrong notes into your memory if you make mistakes. When you check the answers after testing yourself, your brain tags any errors. And this actually helps you remember the right notes even better next time. The trick is to test yourself before you feel ready. Challenge yourself. That's how you tap into the struggle that builds lasting memory. The biggest mistake I see over and over again is students making it too easy. If you make it hard enough that you're really struggling now, then your memory will be much stronger the next day. Mindset is everything here. It will feel like you're remembering less than usual. That's normal. And for today, it's actually true. But tomorrow, you'll be amazed at how much more sticks. This is how you make memories that last years, not just hours. And don't just listen, try it. If you've got your instrument nearby, pause the video and test this on a new bar of music right now. That's how you turn theory into genuine long-term recall. Now, this first step is a great start, but soon you'll find you can play segments from memory easily. And remember, when practice feels easy, you're not making progress. In fact, ease is the enemy. So it's time to shift up a gear. Step 2 is introduce deliberate gaps to forget. Repeating something over and over from memory is just as pointless as repeating it from the music. Once you've learned something, you need to let yourself forget a little and then struggle to recall it again. That's what drives memories deeper. This is called interleaved practice, and it's one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. Here's how it works. In blocked practice, the old way, you work on topic A, then B, then C. Notice how each practice topic is one separate big block. In interleaved practice, you do a little bit of A, then B, then C, and then loop back around again and again. See how all the topics are mixed up? This is what stops your brain from getting too comfortable. Every time you come back to a topic, you have to struggle a bit, and that's where the real learning happens. So how do you make this work in your own practice? Well, if you're working on lots of memory chunks, then you can rotate between the different passages, never staying with any one chunk for too long. If you're only working on a small bit of memorizing, then cycle between that and the other practice types, like technique or sight reading. That way, your brain has a chance to forget between each repetition from memory. If this feels awkward, that's a good sign. This is how you build lasting, bulletproof memory, not just short-term recall. But if you stick with this, you'll soon find that even interleaved practice feels easy. That magical feeling of struggle fades again. So it's time to raise your game once more. Step 3 is to spread it out over days and then weeks. This is called spaced repetition, another of the most powerful practice tools out there. Here's how you're going to do it. Leave what you've memorized for a full day. Test yourself the next day. If it's solid, increase the interval. If it's shaky, review the tough spots and stick with the same interval. If it's a disaster, review and go back to the previous shorter interval. And don't worry if that happens, it's normal. It just means you're finding the right level. Here are the intervals I want you to use. Notice how the gaps increase by bigger and bigger amounts each time. We go from 1 day to 2, then to 4, and then 1, 2, and 4 weeks. Here's what it might look like in real life. You nail it after day 1, so you stretch to 2 days. That goes well too, so you bump it up to 4 days. It's shaky at 4 days, so you stick at that interval a few times until it's solid. And then you try a week. This time, it's clearly too much. But no worries, you just drop back to 4 days, regroup, and try again. If you're solid next time, then you'll go back up to a week again, and so on. The more you stretch these intervals, the more ingrained your memory becomes. This is how you turn short-term wins into lifelong mastery. Now, you could keep tracking spaced repetition for every piece forever, but that's an administrative nightmare. So once you're comfortable with a 1-month gap, it's time to declare the piece long-term memorized and switch to a simple maintenance plan. So step 4 is ongoing review. After you've successfully reviewed a piece at 4 weeks, do it twice more with the same 4-week gap to make sure it's solid. Then write the piece's name on a flashcard and add it to your ongoing repertoire pile. Here's the beauty. You don't have to track dates anymore. Just set a regular time to review, grab your stack, play through the top card and move it to the bottom. You can choose to do these sessions frequently and review just one piece each time, or leave longer gaps between review sessions but do 2, 3 or even 4 pieces in each one, whatever suits you. This way you keep every piece in shape with almost zero hassle. But even if you've got a piece memorized cold in practice, you might still find that it vanishes when the pressure's on. Luckily, there's an explanation for why this happens, and that also gives us a way to fix it. So step 5 is to make it performance-proof. Here's the problem. Under stress, your brain has a lot more stuff thrown at it than in a practice session. As a result, brain power gets diverted away from your memory, and that's when things fall apart. The fix is to practice under pressure, so your memory becomes bulletproof, even when the heat is on. Now, any way of ramping up the pressure on yourself will work, but here are 3 good ones to start with. Record yourself playing. Just hitting record can make your heart race. Play for a friend or family member. Or add distractions, like a song in the background or a metronome at the wrong tempo. Each time you rehearse under a little extra stress, you're training your brain to hold up when it matters most. This is how you make sure your memory isn't just locked in during practice, it thrives in performance too. So now you've got a complete step-by-step system for taking any new piece from total unfamiliarity to rock-solid long-term memory. Let's recap. Test yourself on small chunks without the music, and do this before you feel ready. Once that's solid, switch to interleaved practice. Mix up your practice topics so your brain keeps struggling. Then, space your practice out. Move from daily up to weekly gaps using spaced repetition. And then, move pieces into ongoing review. Once you're solid at 4-week gaps, use flashcards to keep everything fresh. And finally, practice under pressure. Stress test your memory so it holds up under performance conditions. And if you're worried this might take a lot of time, well, the answer is yes and no. Yes, it's not as fast as mindless repetition at first, but no, because it's the only way to build memories that actually last, and you'll spend far less time relearning down the line. Plus, you'll perform with real confidence rather than dreading memory blanks. This is your blueprint for lasting mastery. But if you want to go even deeper into memorizing music quickly and reliably, then click the link below. And even when your memory is solid, you still need to make sure you deliver your best performance on the day. So watch this video next, where I'll show you the one habit that gets you performing like a pro every time.